Namaste guys, ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Wednesday evening here in Denver, Colorado. It's a little after, it's almost 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time right here. And if you're watching this live, Namaste, if you're watching this live on Facebook, Lorena, Namaste, right below this video is the weekly newsletter. So it's a quote from my teacher, Grandmaster Choa Koksui, the modern founder of Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga, and my breakdown of the quote and how you can apply the teachings, the tools, the techniques to improve the quality of your life. So hopefully you enjoy it. If you are watching this live on Facebook right now, it is right below this video. So I wanted to share with some of you who are interested, who are interested in the 14 lessons I learned over 2 Arhatic Yoga retreats. So get out your pen, get out your piece of paper, let's take some notes, let's grow, let's learn, let's evolve with each other. So for those of you who do not know, Arhatic Yoga is a yoga system that was developed by Grandmaster Choa Koksui, Shelly Namaste, over 30 years ago, where a soul can properly, rapidly, and safely merge their little self with their big self, right? And it's a whole system unlike anything that I've ever seen from other schools of yoga. And I've been a Arhatic Yoga practitioner for the past 16 years. I took it originally with Grandmaster Choa Koksui at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Secaucus, New Jersey in July of 2005, and I've been practicing it regularly ever since. And so every single year within the United States, but there's more throughout the world, but every single year, once a year, there's a Arhatic Yoga Retreat on the West Coast that is led by Master Stephen Coe with 2 supporting masters. And then on the East Coast, under Master Glenn and Master Marilag Mendoza, that is assisted by 3 other masters. So you have 3 masters on the West Coast holding the space for the retreat. You have 5 masters on the East Coast holding the space for the retreat. And it is a beautiful experience. Arhatic yogis from around the world will come together to practice our meditation practices together to deepen our spiritual experiences. We will also learn in lectures of videos that were done by Grandmaster Choa Koksui many, many years ago, and then live lectures by the masters on specific topics that they think would be beneficial to the practitioners. And then we also do lots and lots of healing on one another. So when Grandmaster Choa Koksui was developing Arhatic Yoga, he also was developing Pranic Healing at the same time. So they work in tandem with one another. You have a healing arm, which is Pranic Healing, James, Namaste, and you have the meditation or spiritual arm, which is Arhatic Yoga. So as you're advancing in your spiritual practice, things are going to come up. Physical things, physical ailments, emotional ailments, relationship ailments, financial ailments, lack of clarity, lack of meaning, lack of purpose will come up. And so you have the healing arm to help you with that. The meditation arm increases and expands your energy, making you a more powerful healer. And it's interesting because when I got involved originally with Pranic Healing in March of 2004, I had 0 interest in ever healing people. The sole purpose as to why I got involved with Pranic Healing was to qualify to take the higher classes of meditation, which were Arhatic Yoga, achieving oneness with the higher soul, higher clairvoyance, Kriya Shakti, things like that. But in order to take those classes, you have to first take preliminary classes, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, in order to qualify to take Arhatic Yoga. And many people in the early days of Grandmaster Choa Koksui developing Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga, they said, hey, there are some people who are interested just in the spiritual practices, just in the meditations, and they don't want to be healers. So why can't we just offer the Arhatic Yoga techniques and technology without them having to learn how to heal? And he says, no, absolutely not, because he wanted people of goodwill and the will to do good to be Arhatic yogis, right? He didn't want people just to practice these very, very advanced meditation practices, expanding their energy, and then going, well, what am I going to do with all this energy? I just tripled, quadrupled the size of my energy body. Am I just going to walk around and impress people with my bright, shiny aura and my bright, shiny chakras? Or am I actually going to use them for goodwill and the will to do good? So that's why you have to first learn how to heal yourself and other people, do some character building, do some purification. Jenny, Atma Namaste, before you're allowed to take Arhatic Yoga. And then there's even higher levels of Arhatic Yoga that require even more purification, more service, more tithing, more character building to become a better person. Because here's the thing. If you don't have your anger issues under control now, and you advance, Jeanette, Atma Namaste, and you advance in your spiritual practices by a factor of 5, 10 or more, how much harder is it going to be to resolve your anger issues at this level, right? So that's why Pranic Healing beautifully and perfectly complements Arhatic Yoga, that I've not seen in other spiritual schools or meditation practices, right? So we have the preventative aspect, and then we also have, okay, when things go wrong, do this, this, and this. So that's why I love Pranic Healing, I love Arhatic Yoga, and this is why it's been my profession for 16 years, helping people transform their lives. Oh, for a minute I thought that was a leprechaun, a little leaf or whatever. Charlie, Atma Namaste, welcome, welcome, welcome. So this past 2 weeks, I've had the opportunity to attend both retreats. My goal is every single year to attend the West Coast retreat and the East Coast retreat, and they're usually a week apart from one another. They're never the same weekend. So 2 weeks ago, I was in San Diego, California, taking Inner Christianity Revealed, which deals with the energetic aspect of the teachings of Christianity, which is amazing, super powerful class. If you're a Christian, you will have a deeper understanding and deeper respect and reverence for your religion. If you're not a Christian, you can still take that class, extract beautiful nuggets to improve the quality of your energy, to improve the quality of your health, to improve the quality of your meditations, whether you're a Christian or not. And then I spent 2 days floating around Long Beach, around Ranchos Palos Verdes, around Hermosa Beach, and then heading back to San Diego to do the 2 days of the Arhatic Yoga Retreat. Now, in general, the format is pretty much the same from Thursday night to Sunday evening. We, in general, do the same thing on the West Coast and the same thing on the East Coast. And obviously, because this live stream is open to the public, I'm not going to be revealing specific techniques that are related to our school because I don't know where each and every one of you are at. So I'm going to be talking more in generalities than in specifics, but the generalities will still improve the quality of your life. And I usually never, ever, ever write down notes when I do these live streams, but I thought for this one, I want to be a little bit more on point than usual. So the first lesson, and again, these lessons are beautiful because they're constant reminders. When we do our Arhatic Yoga retreats, the purpose of an Arhatic Yoga retreat is to remember the teacher, Grandmaster Cho Koksui. He's the founder of Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga. So to remember the teacher, to remember the teachings, and to purify ourselves to become better souls and better instruments of goodwill. That's the purpose of an Arhatic Yoga retreat. Remember the teacher, remember the teachings, and purify oneself. So, the number one lesson was when we identify with our incarnated soul, we suffer. So what's the incarnated soul? Very simple. The incarnated soul is your mental body, where you have your thoughts, your emotional body, where you have your feelings, and your physical body that you can see with your physical eyes. All of those things encompass and make up your incarnated soul. So whenever we are saying, I am angry, or I'm confused, or this hurts, whenever we're identifying with those aspects of ourselves, we suffer, right? Because we, in that moment of expressing our suffering, are not connected to our higher self or our higher soul. So the next part of the lesson is when we identify with who and what we are, which is the soul, not the body, not the emotions, and not the thoughts, it alleviates our suffering, right? Because we start to have a level of objectivity and disidentification with those things of like, my physical body hurts, but my physical body is not the soul. Right now, my emotions are upset, but the soul is not upset. Right now, my thoughts are a little unclear and fuzzy, but my soul is not unclear or fuzzy. So as we continue to practice that throughout every day of our lives, we start to become empowered. We start to be plugged into who and what we are, which is the soul. So our suffering goes down, and our joy, our bliss, our happiness, our inner peace, our inner stillness goes up, right? So it's a beautiful experience. So that was mentioned multiple times at both retreats, the West Coast retreat and the East Coast retreat. Spend less time identifying with the incarnated soul and spend more or most or all of your time identifying with the higher soul. And that's a practice that you have to practice. It doesn't happen easily. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen over time the more and more you practice. So one of the big things is identifying your language. And so instead of saying, I'm angry, because whatever follows the I am, you become. So do you want to become anger? Or you just want to realize that, my emotional body is feeling anger. So in Pranic Healing, we are very careful with our words. So as an example, instead of saying, I'm hungry, right, which shrinks our spiritual connection, we say, the body is hungry, right? The body, this vehicle, is hungry, but the soul is not hungry for physical food. Does that make sense? So the more times we can be aware of what we're thinking and what we're saying, we can strengthen our connection to our higher selves on a regular basis versus being entangled by the world of the lower nature or the incarnated soul. So we don't say, I'm angry. We say, my emotions are angry. We don't say, I'm confused. We say, my thoughts are confused. We don't say, I'm hungry. We say, my body is hungry. Make sense? Interesting. It's a new way of speaking, but the more often you practice it, the more empowered you become. Lesson number 3. This one I really liked. You may not have the right skills or the right abilities to do something, but if you have the right attitude, you can do anything. Again, you might not have the right skills or the right abilities, but if you have the right attitude, you can accomplish anything. And this could be more connected in a simpler way that Anthony Robbins talks about. It's not about having resources, but it's about being resourceful. You might not have the answer to come up with the solution to the problem you're facing, but somebody else will. So if you have the right attitude with your thoughts, your words, and your actions, you will find a solution, hell or high water, right? So I really like that. And that's a great reminder of, okay, for instance, one of my ninja powers or one of my skills or one of my abilities is the ability, actually, I'm not mistake, is one of the abilities to speak extemporaneously, right? You can give me a topic, a general topic, maybe even a specific topic, and I have enough life experience, I've read enough books, I've watched enough YouTube videos, I've listened to enough podcasts that I can quote unquote intelligently talk about a lot of different things. But my specialization is energy healing, meditation, and practical spirituality. Those are my zones of genius that I do my best to stay in. But if you gave me a topic in a couple hours to study, I could probably intelligently talk about something, even without a lot of experience. So that's my skill set. But there are people, Stacey, I'm going to say, there are people who have less ability than me in speaking, less skill in speaking than me, but they have a better attitude than I do about speaking. So they're like comfortable and confident of speaking in front of an audience of 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 people, right? Because their attitude, their mindset, their conductivity and connectivity to their higher self and to God is greater. So they are empowered, and their empowerment is infectious to other people. So even though they might not be the best of the best of the best in what they do, They have the right attitude. Have you ever met people who are super skillful and have great abilities but have crappy attitudes? And you don't want to spend any time around them. You don't want to learn from them. You don't want to study with them. You don't want to access whatever skill or ability they have because their attitude sucks. That would be an example of what we're talking about. So having the right attitude is super, super important, and that begins with humility. Humility is knowing what your strengths are and knowing what your weaknesses are. And you're like, you know what? I'm humble enough to recognize I don't have the right skills and right abilities to accomplish this task, but guess what? I have the right attitude and I will find a way. Beautiful, right? That positive mental attitude, which is actually a book that was written in the 1940s that I remember reading as a teenager. Lesson number 4. Carla, namaste. I noticed you have a picture of your son as your profile. Am I correct on that one? So when we take action, energy passes through us. When we take action, energy passes through us. So what do I mean by that? So within the world of spirituality, there's something called a Shakti Pat, or a spiritual empowerment. It's a Sanskrit term from India that with the blessings of God, with the blessings of your spiritual teacher, all things are possible, right? If you remember from the Christian religion, through Christ who strengthens me, all things are possible. I can do anything through Christ who strengthens me, right? What does that mean? It means the person who is conductive and receptive and humble to the energies of God, of Lord Christ, of a spiritual teacher, they are empowered to do great things. But here's the thing. You have to take action. The great teachers provide us with energy. They provide us with higher intuition. They provide us with blessings. What they can't do is materialize those energies into the physical world. That's why the human beings and human bodies, incarnated bodies, is so important. Because we take the energy of the great ones and we impregnate that energy into the world through goodwill and the will to do good, to transform humanity, to uplift and raise the vibration of the entire planet. So there's a story from one of the master pranic healers talking about he had a project ahead of him that he had to organize a class of a bunch of students to take the higher level classes through marketing and what have you, right? Marketing, promotion, all the things, getting butts and seats. And so he would go to our teacher, Grandmaster Cho, and he says, please bless me. Master, please bless me. And the teacher would bless him. And then he would come back to the teacher, please bless me. And the teacher would bless him. And then at some point, the teacher said, you've already been blessed. Go and do your work. As you do your work, you will be blessed. You will be empowered. You will be guided to the right people, the right places, the right situations to move the plan forward. Aha, I nailed it. That is your 17-year-old son. I love it. He's a good-looking man. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have two sides of the coin. You have people who are not connected to God, who are constantly working, and burning themselves into the ground, and they are exhausted and making lots and lots of mistakes and producing some results. Then you have the people who are always meditating, always connecting to God, always asking for blessings, always asking for healings, always asking for the energy world, right? But not taking any action. So what's the right formula? What's the right equation? As I understand it, within Pranic Healing, it's recommended 70% inner work, 70% energy work, 30% physical work. Meaning connect to God, get blessings from your teacher, do your spiritual practice, do your meditation practice, right? That's 70%, gain clarity and understanding as to why you're doing what you're doing. And then 30% is do it, do the work, make the phone calls, go on the job interviews, whatever it is that you want to materialize in the physical world, do the physical work. Does that make sense? So you don't want to not be connected to God and then just run around like a chicken with your head cut off. You also don't want to be the person who's constantly in bliss and meditating all the time, but never actually taking action. So you want to do both 70% inner work, 70% energy work, 30% outer work, 30% physical work. Does that make sense? So that was another big, beautiful reminder for me. Number 6. This is a good one. This is a big, big nugget that I think a lot of you can receive a lot of benefit from. By the way, for those of you who are looking for healing in some area of your life, hire me. Go to ChristianRLong.com. You can read all about me. You can read my qualifications, credentials, client testimonials, all of these things. We do the work distantly or face-to-face if you're in the Denver area, but typically distantly. I would highly recommend that. This is connected to anger. How many of us experience anger on a quote-unquote regular basis? Ask yourself the question before you're about to get angry, is this person, because typically we're angry with ourselves or another person, not necessarily a situation, but it happens. Is this person or situation worth losing my spiritual connection over? Is this person or situation worth losing my spiritual connection over? Meaning, when you have a beautiful meditation, you're feeling a lot of inner peace, inner stillness, inner bliss, and then somebody comes into your life and creates a circumstance that, quote unquote, messes with that. You have the choice of A, staying connected and letting the experience pass, B, dropping your energy and emotionally entangling yourself with this negative situation. So that person's angry, you can meet their anger. Here's the interesting thing that was discussed at the retreat. When you're angry, a portion, not all, a portion of your higher soul withdraws itself from your incarnated soul. Why is that a problem? It means you have less light and less connectivity to your higher self. All the energy that you are operating your life with, physically, emotionally, and mentally, comes from your higher soul. So when we die, when we leave our physical body, your higher soul withdraws its energy. That's why we die. If the higher soul didn't withdraw its energy, we would live forever, right? And there are some immortal yogis, but that's a conversation for another day, okay? So the point I'm making is, when you are in a space of conflict with another person or in a situation that could cause you to lose your temper and to become angry, be still, be aware, and don't overreact. Because the second you go down that rabbit hole of anger, your higher soul, the beautiful qualities and energies of your higher soul start to withdraw, and you actually lead yourself into greater misery. Caleb, Abba Namaste. Does that make sense? Very, very important to be aware of. Big lesson. Lesson number 7. What you read and the company you keep is important. What you read and the company you keep is important. And that's a success adage that has been around for decades. But think about it. If I asked you right now, who do you spend most of your time with? And who, or let me rephrase it, what books are you reading most of the time? That should give you a lot of insight into where you are in your life, right? So if you're looking to be a better person, hang around people that are working on becoming better people. If you are working on becoming a better partier, then hang out with people who party all the time. If you're looking to be an entrepreneur, hang out with other entrepreneurs. If you're looking to be a professional energy healer, hang out with professional energy healers. If you're looking to get a regular meditation practice, hang out with people who are regular meditators. Makes sense, right? It's so obvious, but the question is, are you practicing it? And then if I ask you the question, what kinds of books are you reading? What information are you feeding your subconscious and conscious minds? You're like, well, I read a lot of blogs. Okay, so surface level understanding, right? Because blogs are not books. You're like, oh, I read a lot of fiction. Okay. So you read a lot of fantasy, right? Or I read a lot of biographies. So then you're understanding the thought processes of great minds, right? Because someone who writes a biography typically has lived a life worth writing about. In the act of them sitting down, they're putting a lot of awareness and understanding and lessons into that book. So by reading a 200 or 300 page book from a great person, you're extracting decades of knowledge within a few hours, or I should say decades of wisdom within a few hours. Pretty amazing, right? Which is kind of what we're doing here. I'm sharing with you experiences and lessons I've learned over these 2 weekend retreats over the past 2 weeks. Alam, Namaste. It's good to have you back on. That has taken Grandmaster Choa Koksui a lifetime of trial and error and experimentation to validate the truth of these tools, these techniques, and methodologies. Makes sense, right? So again, ask yourself the question, who am I associating with? And is that ultimately getting me to the destination that I want to go to? Right? If you want to be a millionaire, wouldn't it make sense to hang out with millionaires? Right? Right? But if you want to be a millionaire and you hang out with people who make $50,000 a year, you're not getting the mindset, the habits, and beliefs necessary to propel you to millionaire status. Make sense? If you want to have more inner peace, happiness, and joy, but you hang around a bunch of angry, bitter, resentful people, hello? If you want to be in a deeply loving, fulfilling, committed relationship, and you spend all of your time associating with footloose and fancy-free single people, hello? So it would make more sense to hang out with people who are in committed relationships, people who have fulfilling marriages, people who have beautiful family lives, right? Wouldn't that make sense? Because it's programming and conditioning your subconscious and conscious mind to attract that into your life. And then the books that you're reading. You're like, well, Christian, I'm not reading any books right now. That should give you a clue as well. You're not putting in fresh data, fresh energy, fresh material. It's actually quite fascinating. Over my years of doing Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga and reading the books by Grandmaster Choa Koksui and attending the retreats and the workshops by the senior instructors and the master pranic healers, I've been exposed to this stuff so often that now when I meet with somebody, something I read will just come out in a conversation and I didn't even think about it. I'm like, huh. But would that have been at the tip of my tongue if I never read that material to begin with? Most likely not. Let's see. Lesson number 8 of 14. This is big. This is a big nugget. If you could somehow maybe tattoo this on your forehead, highly recommend it. And you could feel when this quote was presented in the room, certain people got really uncomfortable. And I kind of like those moments of uncomfortability because it's an opportunity for an aha, a eureka moment that can transform your life, a breakthrough. Hands, right? Hands that serve are holier than lips that pray. Hands that serve are holier than lips that pray. So there's a term in psychology called the rule of commitment and consistency, that we value people who are congruent with their thoughts, their words, and their actions. We don't value people who are incongruent with their thoughts, their words, and actions, meaning they say one thing and they do something entirely different. We do not like that, right? Very important. We do not like that. We like people that, even if what they say we don't like, but they follow up on what they said, we're like, huh, at least I know where that person is coming from. At least I know where that person stands. So I think a big challenge that people have in the world of spirituality, not just spirituality, in other industries and other fields of study, is people talk a good game, but they don't follow through. They don't practice what they preach. That's in essence what that's saying. So you can have somebody that spends all day meditating, all day chanting mantras, all day reading spiritual books, but never really contributing to society, never really alleviating the pain, the sorrow, and suffering of humanity through service, through tithing, through healing, through offering their expertise and abilities to other people. And that's where the rubber meets the road. And I think that's a big issue with people. Give time. Yeah, Shelley gets it. Exactly. Giving time. So it's more important for you to do service than it is to just read books and just meditate and just focus on your navel and contemplate the cosmos, right? Does that make sense? Because if you look at any great person or great spiritual teacher or any great leader, what are they always doing? They're always serving other people. Susan, namaste. They're taking action. So again, I'll read the quote to you. Hands that serve are holier than lips that pray. So you guys aren't going to like this, but you're on this stream and you're here for some, I hope, honesty, right? I'll do my best to put in some loving kindness into the honesty. But how many of us, when we go onto Facebook and we see somebody who has had pain, had sorrow, suffering, there's a loss, a friend died, an animal died, a relative died, they were in a car accident, they're in the hospital from some disease or sickness or ailment, something is going on in their lives, and how many times do we see sending blessings? Sending blessings. Now, again, nothing wrong with blessing. I do that most every single day of my life with the Twin Hearts meditation by blessing Mother Earth. But that's a level of truth. But what about, hey, did you start a GoFundMe campaign for that friend and sent money to that friend to help them with their medical bills, to help them buy a new car seat for their child, or to help them maybe contribute to them buying a new puppy because they just lost a puppy? Do you get what I'm saying? So that's the difference of walking the walk and talking the talk. And so I want to encourage each and every one of you that if there is a person in your life that is in need and you have the capacity to help that person, help them. Don't just say on Facebook, sending blessings. Like if you really are, if you're a healer, I'm talking specifically to the healers in this moment. If you're a healer, then sit your butt down, grab a healing crystal, and do healing on that person. If they're suffering a great loss in their life, do the healing protocol for grief. Does that make sense? If they're full of anxiety and stress, then sit down and do the healing protocol for anxiety and stress, as opposed to sending blessings. Now, maybe you're a super developed and advanced person, you have tremendously strong will, and your will of sending blessings can transform that person's life, but not all of us can do that, right? But if you can reach into your pocketbook and give some money to that person, or facilitate, hey, they need to borrow my car for the week. I have an extra car. They need to borrow my truck so they can move something going from one place to another, and I can help out with that, right? So again, hands that serve are holier than lips that pray. Lesson number 9. This is actually a very interesting story, quite fascinating. Money in the hands of good people can change the world. Money in the hands of good people can change the world. And this quote was actually given by Anthony Robbins because 2 weeks ago, Anthony Robbins was celebrating his 60th birthday, which is funny because he's actually a leap year baby. So his birthday is February 29th. For those of you who do not know, every 4 years, we have a February 29th. The rest of the years, we have a February 28th, no 29th. So he was celebrating his 60th year on this planet. He invited a small, intimate group of 3,000 people. And Master Stephen Coe, one of the senior Pranic Healing masters in the world, was invited several months ago to attend this event. Well, he, because of his schedule and looking at, hey, I'm going to be teaching the Annual Arhatic Yoga Retreat, my responsibility and commitment to Master Choa's work comes first, period, end of story. Sorry, Anthony, I can't make it to your event. And then he got another contact. He turned it down. He got another contact from Anthony Robbins' wife. He turned it down. And then they said, hey, there's going to be a lot of movers and shakers at this event of 3,000 people. Would you be willing to come? Wendy, I'm an namaste. Would you be willing to come and lead a Twin Hearts meditation for 3,000 CEOs, celebrities, and athletes? And he goes, how long? And he goes, okay. So everything was taken care of. There was a backup plan for the Arhatic Yoga Retreat. We barely missed him, right? It was that smooth and efficient. And Anthony Robbins had a private helicopter fly in, pick up Master Coe, fly to the venue an hour and a half away. He led the Twin Hearts meditation, and then he flew back. And that was another opportunity to spread the work of Grandmaster Choa Koksui, because for those of you who do not know, Anthony Robbins' organization and the Pranic Healing organization have been intimately working with one another for the past 3.5, almost 4 years. But at that event, Anthony Robbins, being a person of goodwill and the will to do good, said, hey, we have 3,000 people here. We have 3,000 movers and shakers here that can transform the lives of tens of thousands, if not millions of people. Let's use this as an opportunity to raise some funds for a cause that I think a lot of us can get behind, which is the Underground Railroad. Da'av, Amen Namaste, good to have you back on. There you go. Yeah, yeah. Some people at the event heard the helicopter propeller blades outside. They're like, it's Master Coe. The private helicopter's coming in to kidnap him temporarily. And so Anthony Robbins has a foundation, a nonprofit called the Underground Railroad to stop sex trafficking. And guess what? Within a 4-hour event, give or take, I wasn't there. Some of the other pranic healers were there. At a 4-hour event, they raised about $20 million. That's on average about, $1,600 per person on average. Some people gave less, some people gave more, some people didn't give anything, right? Vitala, namaste. But within a 4-hour period, $20 million was generated that will go to this nonprofit that will alleviate the pain, the sorrow, and suffering of people that are being sex trafficked. Obviously, most of them children and most of them girls. So, again, money in the hands of people of goodwill can change the world. So anyone who says money is the root of all evil doesn't understand what money is. Money is concretized energy. It's not the money that's the problem. It's the persons that have access to the money. If the person is of good character, they can use that money to transform the world. If the person is of bad character, they can use that money to enslave and destroy others. Makes sense, right? But think about that. Within a 4-hour period, $20 million was raised. At least $20 million was raised. Beautiful thing. So that was a great lesson for me. I got to keep earning more money to serve more people. Number 10, lesson 10 of 14. Transform yourself rather than comparing and or criticizing others. How many of us spend so much time and energy gossiping about other people, comparing ourselves to other people? I'm better than that person's better than me. Why is that person doing those things? Why isn't that person doing those things? Versus looking at ourselves. Hello, going within. How can I be better with my physical body, my sleep, my nutrition, my exercise? How can I be better in how I show up with my friends, my family members, my employer, my employees, my vendors, my suppliers, the world at large? How can I have greater discernment? How can I practice less self-delusion, less self-conceitedness, less negative pride, right? How can I deepen my spiritual practice? How can I strengthen my connection to my higher self? How can I strengthen my connection to God? Correct. Shelley nailed it. We can only change ourselves. We cannot change other people. We can only influence other people. We can influence people through our thoughts. We can influence people through our words. And we can influence people through our actions. But at the end of the day, every single soul on this planet is 100%, not 95%, not 99.9%, but every single person on this planet is 100% responsible for their thoughts, their words, and the actions. For the thoughts that they're thinking, the words that they're speaking, and the actions that they're taking. Nobody else. So stop comparing yourself to others. My job as a professional energy healer and as a meditation teacher is to not criticize, because criticize means I'm adding negative emotion to my discernment. Discernment means to judge something correctly, right? Criticizing is discerning with negative emotions attached to it. That's the thing you want to avoid. But people hire me to do these things with them. But ordinarily, and I'm still working on this, I'm not perfect, right? I'm still in the process of growing and evolving and becoming a better person. As soon as I start noticing I'm verbally criticizing another person or I'm comparing myself to another person, I practice awareness. I do the technique of disintegration. I bless the person and I move forward. Likewise, if I'm doing that in my mind, which is more prevalent because most of us don't have control over our thoughts because we lack awareness of what we're thinking. But as you practice more awareness, you start to become more aware of, the past 3 minutes I've been judging and criticizing and comparing myself to this other person. I need to stop doing that, right? So transform you. Transform you. I'm saying it as much to myself as I'm saying it to you guys. Stop spending time comparing, criticizing, judging other people. People are going to change at their own pace, period. Because all the time and energy you're spending judging, criticizing, and comparing yourself to other people, you're taking away time from becoming a better person yourself. For yourself. Make sense? Okay. Lesson number 11. Are you guys getting benefit? Give me some hearts. Give me some thumbs up. Give me a shout out. If you're not getting benefit, give me a thumbs down. Give me an angry face. Let me know that you guys are still breathing and taking in what we're talking about. This was a good one. This was a great reminder. Thanks, Batal. This was a great reminder for me. So remember I talked about at the Arhatic Yoga Retreats, it's a rare opportunity for us to watch videos. Yeah, thumbs up. It's an opportunity for us to watch videos of Grandmaster Choa Kok-Sui. For those of you who do not know, Grandmaster Choa Kok-Sui left his body March 19th of 2007. So he hasn't been in his physical body since then. So when there's a chance to watch a video of Master Choa explaining things about pranic healing, things about Arhatic yoga, things about the soul, things about healing, it's always a great opportunity because we're able to connect. We're able to connect to the energy of the teacher. So that's super special. And so in one of the videos, Becca, namaste, good to have you back on. In one of the videos, Grandmaster Choa Kok-Sui was talking about being conductive and being receptive to your higher soul, to your spiritual teacher, and to God, right? It's like being plugged in. It's like being empowered. And a way of looking at it is you can have the most advanced supercomputer known to man that can do trillions of calculations within a second, if you unplug it from its power source, how useful is that computer? Has no use. Maybe as a very, very heavy paperweight. Because it's not plugged in, it's not receiving energy. So that is the same as us. When we meditate and we're experiencing inner peace, happiness, and joy and bliss, we are connected, we're plugged in, we're receiving the blessings from God, the great ones, our spiritual teacher, our higher selves. And that energy is coursing through our mental body, our emotional body, and our physical body. We are empowered. For those of you who hear that term a lot, I'm empowered. What does it actually mean? It actually means you're connected. Empowerment means you're connected to your higher self, to your teacher, to the great ones, ultimately to God. That's what empowerment means. So, really felt the transformer effect this year? Yes. Yeah, it was super. It was, indeed. Talking about the lineage, it was beautiful. So, in this video that Grandmaster Cho Koksui, the filming of this video and him presenting the information, he was saying, okay, you do your spiritual practice, you do your meditation, you become aware of the blessings flowing to you from God, the great ones, your spiritual teacher, and your higher self, and you feel empowered because you are empowered. And he says, how long can you maintain that conductivity? How long can you maintain that receptivity? A couple minutes? A couple hours? A couple days? Weeks? Right? A lifetime? That is the challenge on the spiritual path. Because when you get bad news and freak out, you forget your conductivity. When you get bad news, or when you get in an argument with somebody and become angry, you forget the conductivity. When you are stressed out about the world at large, coronavirus, for instance, you're forgetting to be conductive. So that's why people's empowerment vacillates all the time, or their conductivity and receptivity vacillates all the time. Because they keep forgetting, they keep forgetting who and what they are, which is the soul. You're not your problems. You're not the world at large. You're not the coronavirus. You're not the fear of the coronavirus. You're not all of these things, physically, emotionally, mentally. You are the soul. So that was a really, really great reminder from the teacher of how long can you stay connected? How long can you stay connected? So that is something. What reminders do I have today? Today's Wednesday? I have to check that. Lesson number 12. Ooh. This is another one that I don't think you guys are going to like to hear. Because when it was said in class, you could feel everyone get a little bit worked up. So you might not like to hear this. But again, this stream is about giving you awareness, giving you spiritual teachings, spiritual truths, for the purpose of transforming your life. And truth is not always easy to hear, but you always know truth when you hear it. Your spiritual development is not based on how you feel, but your schedule. Your spiritual development is not based on how you feel, but your schedule. Elizabeth, namaste. What does that even mean? Okay. Should I meditate today? Yes or no? Well, I don't feel like meditating. I'll meditate tomorrow. Versus, what does my schedule say? Oh, today's Wednesday. And Wednesday, I do this meditation. I do this spiritual practice. I do this purification practice. I read for 15 minutes from this spiritual book. Whatever it is that is on your schedule, that is how you spiritually progress. By following your schedule, not following your emotions. right? It's so simple, but so profound. And how often do we practice that? I know there's many of you watching right now that are like, yeah, totally, 100%. 100%. I should not base my spiritual development or my spiritual practice on how I feel. I should just have a schedule and follow my schedule. And then the schedule is there and you're like, tomorrow. So Avani nailed it. It's the virtue of constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness. Where's your aim? Enlightenment, soul realization. So you have to show up. You have your aim, and you have to take the effort. Not once, not twice, but consistently and persistently for the rest of your life. You're like, really? For the rest of my life, I have to meditate? Yeah. If you want to grow as a soul, you have to do those things. You mean I have to do service? Yes. If you want to grow as a soul, you have to do service. I have to do healings and receive healings. Helps. It helps. I have to study spiritual books. I have to attend spiritual classes and retreats. Yeah. If you want to accelerate your spiritual growth and development, absolutely. Not once, not twice, but throughout your lifetime. How come you don't have that same viewpoint about brushing your teeth or taking a shower or going to bed or doing your laundry or washing your dishes? You don't say, I have to wash dishes again. I have to brush my teeth again. I have to take a shower again. It's just something that you integrate into your life. It's called being a human being. It's called living life. Sylvia, namaste. Why are you late? Why are you late to the party? Right? It makes sense. You brush your teeth every day. You shower every day. You have certain habits that you do every single day because it maintains order in your life. Your spiritual practice should be no different. And your spiritual practice is the thing that plugs you in, connects you, and gives you a tremendous amount of beautiful energies to go about your day and improving every other area of your life. Make sense? So base your life and your spiritual development on your schedule rather than how you feel. This is a good reminder. Severity to others is because we practice severity to ourselves. So if you're cruel, mean, hard, difficult, angry with other people, it's because you are that way with yourself. I kind of came up with this saying a few years ago, that people who hurt others. People who hurt, and then there was a couple people in my life at that time that made me think of this quote. I don't know if I got it from somewhere. I don't think I got it from somewhere. It's a pretty generic quote, right? People who hurt others. Even looking at my own life, the times that I caused the most injury to other people were also the times in my life that I was most injurious to myself. The most low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-image, lack of tolerance, all of these things. But, surprise, 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 as I practice, Patty, Amma Namaste, good to have you on as always. As I practice more love, more self-love, self-care, Harita, Amma Namaste, more self-tolerance, self-understanding, self-respect, what do you know? I started applying those things to other people. That's why I know, God, it took me so long to get to this point, but that's when I know that people that attack me or attack other people that are difficult or just difficult people, I'm immediately reminded of that. I'm like, oh, that person must be suffering a lot right now. It's automatic. I don't even go, are you kidding me? I can't believe you just said that to me. You got a lot of nerve. Because for those of you who've known me for a very long time, I'm about the last person in the world you want to get upset. I know it comes as a surprise. I'm a professional energy healer. I'm a meditation teacher. I've been doing this work for a very, very long time. But I'm about one of the last people on the planet you want to get upset. Trust me, not a good thing. Because those times in my life, I experienced so much pain internally that I got very good at projecting that pain and that anger out to other people. So I don't do it now. I'm not going to like fly off the handle and lose it, but I'm one of those people. There's certain people that you don't get mad. I'm basically one of those people, or was one of those people. I remember my dad said many, many years ago, and he lived a very interesting life. He said, the person you most want to watch out for is not the big biker guy with the leather jacket and the bald and the shaved head. That's not the guy that you want to watch out for. The loud, in-your-face bully. The guy you want to watch out for is the little guy in the corner of the bar drinking by himself. That's the guy that you want to watch out for. And I go, well, why? He goes, because that's the guy that has nothing to lose. I was like, okay, I get that. So the times in my life that I've been the most angry have been the times in my life I'm like, burn it to the ground. There's actually, when I was coming back from New Jersey yesterday, I was flying from New Jersey to Denver. And as I was coming back, they had like, free movies that you could watch. And it's not like you could watch it from the beginning to the end. It was kind of like they started playing the movie, and if you logged in at that time, that's when you started watching the movie. So you could miss most of the movie. So one of the movies that was playing that I caught the middle of and watched towards the end was Joker. And Joker was an excellent movie, like phenomenal. If you have not seen the movie Joker, I highly recommend it. It was not received well by the critics, but the general populace highly recommended it. It's an excellent movie. Amazing acting, very simple, not very simple storyline, but not a lot of special effects or anything like that. They were focused on the story of the Joker. And there's a quote that when I was reading some of the comments and reviews about the movie on YouTube, there was a quote, an African proverb that's connected to the movie, and it says, the child that does not receive warmth from the village will burn the village down to feel its heat, to feel its warmth. Right? So it's like, if we don't nurture our young society, our boys and girls, they will grow up to be detriments and liabilities to society. And so I was thinking about connecting that to severity. It's like the people who are most severe in our society need the most love, need the most healing, need the most nurturing and caring energies. But what do? We throw them into jail. No rehabilitation whatsoever. And then guess what? Now they're in a life-threatening situation of being surrounded by other prisoners who are also filled with trauma, filled with suffering, filled with anger, filled with rage. They all feed off of each other, and then we release them back into society after they serve their term of 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Hello? Where's the rehabilitation? But that's a conversation for another day. But the lesson I learned was that people are severe with other people because they are severe with themselves. So we have to practice mercy and compassion. Make sense? Clear? Okay, and then I had the beautiful opportunity to review a class that is only offered once a year in the United States. It's a challenging class to get into, called Arhatic Sexual Alchemy. Arhatic Sexual Alchemy. In general, if you said, hey, I want to take that class, in general, it would take you 6 years of preparation to be able to take that class if you want to do it properly. So there's a lot of preparatory work and foundational work you have to do in order to take that class. But in that class, you're learned, Elizabeth, I'm not mistake, you're taught how to merge and connect your energy with another person for greater love, for greater intimacy, for greater romance, for greater oneness. It's a beautiful, beautiful class. This was my 4th time taking it. And this is the first and only time I've taken this class without a partner and without doing any of the practices with another person. Juana, namaste, welcome. And it was amazing. It was an amazing class. And in that class, one of the masters asked the question. I can't obviously reveal the teachings that were in that class because they're very private, they're very sacred, and there's a foundational understanding you have to have. But one of the masters asked the question to one of the practitioners in the class saying, hey, what has your experience been? How long can you go on making love? Right? Because here's an interesting statistic. You can look it up. It might have changed over the past few years. I looked this up maybe 4 years ago. But the average length of time of lovemaking, including intercourse, 7 minutes. In the United States, the average amount of time of intercourse and lovemaking, of intimacy with a partner is 7 minutes long. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. So it was asked, knowing what you know and the practices that you've been taught in Pranic Healing, Arhatic Yoga, and Arhatic Sexual Alchemy, what are some of the times that you've now heard? And she said 5 to 6 hours. 5 to 6 hours of lovemaking. Now, does this mean that the man has to be erect the entire time? No, and that was a big insight for me. That was a big aha moment for me of like, we are conditioned as men, especially in the Western world, probably throughout the world, not just the Western world, that manliness is connected to how hard and how long we can penetrate a woman. So if it's past 7 minutes, we're champions, right? But it's interesting because retaking this class and having reminders of like, this is what love is. This is what intimacy is. This is what practicing oneness is. It was so beautiful and such an inspiration to me of like, it doesn't have to just be 7 minutes. It doesn't just have to be 30 minutes. I, as the man, don't have to be hard or erect for 30 minutes plus in order for it to be a deeply fulfilling experience for myself and the other person. So that was really, really beautiful. That was a great experience and reminder for me. And we said 14 lessons, but I'm going to throw in a bonus lesson of what I received from the 2 weeks of the Arhatic Yoga Retreats. And this was the last lesson. Intimacy is a whole other world versus 7 minutes. Susan gets it. Yeah. I remember when Arhatic Sexual Alchemy was no longer being offered. So Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui developed this course many, many years ago. He taught it to a select group of people, and then certain people were misusing the technology taught in that class. So for several years, he stopped teaching it when I got involved in the Pranic Healing. And I was like, Master Choa left his body. Is it going to be taught anymore? And then luckily, through the grace of God, the grace of the teacher, certain masters were given approval to teach this class. And I remember taking the class and I kind of got it, right? That's why we take classes, we practice, we retake the class or review the class, and we have a deeper level of understanding of what that class entailed, and then we can transform our lives. And I've taken the class 4 times, and it's funny, I got more value out of taking it this time than cumulatively the 3 other times I've taken the class. Because my understanding is much broader and deeper than it ever been before. And I'm super, super grateful for that. So like Susan is saying, intimacy is a whole other world versus 7 minutes. Because at the end of the day, both people want to be happy, right? Both people want to have good experiences. So that class is teaching us how both people can have good experiences versus one person releasing or having an orgasm and the other person not releasing. Because how many of us, myself included, have had intimate experiences with people and they've been empty, no fulfillment. Even the orgasm or the release wasn't that fulfilling. So what would it look like to have, let's say you don't have sex every single day, but you do a practice like Arhatic sexual alchemy, right, with the right partner, and you have an experience with that partner that lasts for a week, that feeds you, that fulfills you, that nurtures you and nourishes you. How healing is that? Avani says, got to go. We'll definitely catch up on reply. Lots of love and gratitude. Lots of love and gratitude to you, Avani. Always good to have you on the stream. So the last lesson for the 2 weeks of the Arhatic Yoga Retreats, so this is lesson 15, the bonus lesson. There are no good or bad experiences. Everything is a part of the soul's journey. So as soon as we say that's good or that's bad, we miss the lesson. Versus, this is causing suffering, I need to change. This is giving me great fulfillment, happiness, and joy, I need to keep doing more of that. Right? Versus good or bad. Because what we might perceive as good could actually be leading us down the road of destruction. What we perceive as bad could be building the foundation for us to strengthen our character, to be able to handle the weight on our shoulders of a greater task that will ultimately lead to our fulfillment and purpose in life. Make sense? So just like working out at the gym, it might cause temporary soreness as we're doing it, or soreness as we're recovering, but in the end, it's beneficial, right? In the end, it's beneficial. Versus we eat something sweet, a candy bar, and it provides us a level of sweetness for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but the excess calories that we just put into our body stays with us for weeks or months. And it decreases the quality of our health and our longevity. Make sense? So good or bad is really in the eye of the beholder. So it's better to say, is this alleviating my suffering or is this causing my suffering? And with that awareness and understanding, you can make better choices in your life. So those are my 15 lessons of what I learned from the 2 weeks. Obviously, more lessons were gained, but I can't openly talk about those in a public stream. But my goal for tonight's stream was to inspire you to learn Pranic Healing, take classes, learn Arhatic Yoga, practice Arhatic Yoga, and go to one of the retreats to see what I'm talking about firsthand. An ex-girlfriend of mine who became an Arhatic yogi said to me, I don't know why you spend all this time, money, and energy going to these retreats. It doesn't make sense to me. And I go, yeah, because you haven't been to one of the retreats. The following year, she paid the money, signed up for the retreat, went to the retreat, and within the first hour of her sitting in the retreat, she leaned over to me and she goes, now I know why you go to these retreats. The first hour, not the first day or the whole weekend, the first hour she said, now I know why you go to these retreats. So these retreats are life transformative and soul transformative. I've been to hundreds of networking events, business events, meditation events, healing events, yoga events, all kinds of events. There's nothing like an Arhatic Yoga Retreat. Period. End of story. Nothing. Nothing. I will take an Arhatic Yoga Retreat over any other event or retreat I can imagine. Because I know who's leading it. I know the energy behind that leadership. And I know how it will improve the quality of my life, my soul's life, and the lives of my clients. No comparison. No comparison. If somebody said, hey, you have the chance of going to an Arhatic Yoga Retreat or having a luncheon with Warren Buffett or Richard Branson, Arhatic Yoga Retreat. Period. No question. I would figure a way to do both. So I hope that helps. I hope you guys are inspired by tonight's talk. If you got value out of this talk, I don't know what event keeps coming up in my calendar. If you were inspired by this talk, please share this on your Facebook page. Share this on your personal or professional page. If you are in need of healing, again, go to ChristianRLong.com. I have 16 years of experience helping people go from where they are to where they want to go, using energy, using practical spirituality, and using meditation. I'm not your typical coach, and I'm definitely not even your typical energy healer. So I guess that's double the uniqueness, I guess. So that being said, you can also do a 30-minute free consultation with me if you have literally no idea what you want to do and you literally have no idea who I am and what pranic healing is. Then call me up. We'll schedule a 30-minute session, and I can show you very clearly and succinctly how we can help move your life forward. That's it. So thank you very much for sharing your time, your energy with the group. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your suggestions. Any other comments you have in the future that you would like me to cover, please feel free to throw it in the comment section or direct message me on Facebook. I look forward to serving you guys in the very near future. This is Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Karuna, you're late to the party. Enjoy the replay. Hope you're well. Bye-bye.